Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and we have another tips and tricks guide, this time detailing Kid Buu. So as always, I'm going to do a breakdown of his specials and supers. In this particular video, I want to talk a lot about his normals because I feel there's a lot to say. I actually want to teach you a couple gimmicks I learned and some general game plan stuff. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Now, for the special moves. So first up, let's talk about Mystic Ball Attack. So it's quarter circle forward on any of your attack buttons. The only difference between medium and light is the medium goes slightly further out. And you can do both of these in the air, by the way. And they do the same damage, just so you know. The EX version is different. As you can see here, all versions you bounce up slightly in the air. The EX version also bounces up slightly in the air. However, unlike the previous two versions, the EX version hits both going down and going up, as you can see there. Now, the other versions can hit going up if the initial hit does not connect, but only once one hit happens, that is it. There will no longer be any continuation, whereas the EX version will get to continue, and not only does it continue, you can get a combo. So you can do something, you know, like, and then another Mystic Ball Attack. So the main use for this move, unless you want to be really crazy, is mostly in combos, because there's going to be some stuff here I'm going to talk about in the gimmick section, but there's a lot of basically forcing the enemy to guess what you're going to do afterwards. A Mystic Ball Attack, once you do it as a combo ender, because you're going to both be landing on the ground, yes, but you're going to land in the air while they land on their feet. Therefore, you know, there's going to be a bit of a guessing game going on, you know, and multiple layers, but I'll talk about that in gimmicks. But for the most part, it's a combo ender and effectively like a dive kick if you just need the angle more than anything and just need to attack forward, because it is still good in that capacity as well. Next up is the arm swing, but you probably know this better as the anti-air grab. So it comes in three versions, like medium and EX. So the light version is the one you can normally combo into by yourself. However, once you do it, the combo is now over unless you choose to either super, which, you know, it does quite handily. You can go into super quite easily, or you can use one of a variety of assists, and those assists will pop them back up. Now, the medium one is the more generalized anti-air grab, like for actually snatch people out of the air, as it will get you a full combo by itself. So if we set our foe to jump, there we go. See, it kind of pops them, and then we can get whatever follow-up we choose afterwards. Now, in and of itself, you will never combo into this without some sort of assist. Now, it's very possible to combo into this with an assist, but without an assist, it's just not going to happen. Now, the EX version, its main purpose is simply, it's much like the light, so you can combo into it yourself, and it gives you the bounce the medium version has, and you don't need an assist to get to it. So, if you're unable to use an assist to extend your combo, at the very least, you can always use the EX grab, and then you can just kind of follow from there. Now, next up is the Candy Beam, and this is a defining move of the character. So, if you watched the previous video about the Magic Candy Beams, then you already know. Well, one, obviously, you know, it does damage, it hits, all that. And, you know, it's a good target for vanish combos, because you can just spit them out, vanish, and then do whatever combo after that. Now, the one thing here, once again, if you didn't watch the video, you already know, but the Candy Beam will regenerate blue health. So if you are at your maximum health or you have no blue health left to recover, it won't gain you any health back, but it will regain you blue health. And as far as that goes as well, so the move will clash with beams. So it has a lot of durability, so it is really good just to toss out. Now, going from that, just to toss out, so if you're in the air and try it, instead of the beam, you get the Kamehameha. Now, Kamehameha, also a very good vanish target, as you can get the same stuff from that. And this really helps his neutral game plan, as he's a ranged threat at all angles, because the beam has such high durability, so if it trades with Kamehamehas, that means it's going to blow through anything less than a Kamehameha. So you have a lot of ground control, and he is the only character in the game, besides good old Goku here, that has a straight beam in the air. So anyone else who can do some sort of projectile in the air beam-wise, like Cell can do it angled, Tien can do it, but he only gets one hit, so he has extreme difficulty doing a vanish follow-up because he doesn't get the wall bounce as his pops straight up. So it's just like Goku, and this makes him an incredible range threat, you know, which kind of goes in line with a lot of his tool set in that he has a lot of range threats. but very strong indeed to be sure. Next up we have the arm ball. So square circle back and special, and this move has vicious startup, but you can see here, the range is somewhat decent, so if we take one step further than this, we'll get a connect. And the real true purpose of this move, honestly, is this. So, say the foe is guarding, you know, all those hits happen if they guard or not, and while they're guarding, you can just kind of do whatever, like you can see here. So you get all the time in the world just to set up while this is happening. So if you can get them to block this, you can go for overhead, low, whatever have you. You can definitely try to mix them up, as they just have to accept the fact that they are on the block stun at this point. So this is fantastic if you can catch the enemy kind of sleeping at the wheel, because you will dictate terms while they're blocking, because you get to move freely while they cannot. This move also happens to be his assist, as you can see here. So it works much the same way as an assist. So once again, the startup's a bit rough, but the lockdown is huge. And, you know, if it hits, then all the better yet, because then, you know, very easy to get a combo after that. If it hits, you can just kind of do whatever. But it is a great lockdown tool, and it's an incredibly strong part of his arsenal. Now, as for the supers, so first up we have the human extinction attack. So it shoots straight up, and the attacks will come everywhere across the screen if it does not hit. If it does hit and you are close, it'll basically bring the enemy up with it and have the hits come down on their head. Now, one thing here, this does cause a grounded knockdown, so the enemy only has a chance to either do the up recovery, back recovery, but like they can't do any of the air recovery, so they can't forward air recover or anything like that, as this counts as leaving them grounded. This is a great move to do a tag super with certain characters like, say, Frieza, who has a large aerial super. So as they're coming down, you can have Boo kind of hit them on the way while they're going down, and it has great synergy in that regard. If you do a DHC, so say we do whatever, go to our super, Boo will always just be right beside the enemy, so it'll always do its best to get the maximum amount of hits. As for the damage, you know, it's alright, it's about 2k. It's not one of the best supers in the game, it's not one of the worst, it just kind of exists. Now, to speak on the Pearl Flash, that's his airborne super. So he does his best chimpanzee impression, and then he just swipes forward. So, generally you can end a lot of your airborne combos with it. Now, the one thing is here, block or not, so the enemy is set to block now. The move is basically 100% safe on block, as you can see here, because he travels that whole distance regardless. And if you want to be a complete madman, you got bar to burn, you can just keep going, as you can see here. Now, don't expect this to really work necessarily too much, but there's actually kind of little the enemy can do about it. Because, like, once again, there's nothing stopping that momentum. If they try to toss a hitbox out to stop it, well, good luck, because he's just going to blow right through him and you're going to get your hit. Now, as for the level 3. So the level 3, I'll take off guard here. It's pretty decent. So obviously, as you see here, doesn't got a lot of range. But what it does have is a very high and low hitting hitbox, meaning it can definitely hit people well above and well below him. So if you're looking for a desperation level 3, and not that I recommend it, but you know, sometimes you gotta do it. It's pretty decent. And also, it works in the air just fine too. So if you're doing, like, you know, whatever air business, like, you can just do an air combo, it'll connect. And not many level 3s also work in the air. A decent amount do, but overall it is not quite common. And the fact that he doesn't have to worry about landing before getting his level 3 is a pretty big deal, because once again, even if you do it in the air, you will get that guaranteed level 3 hard knockdown, and you will land along with him. I see the explosion's so big he basically deletes himself and he has to reform. But as you land with him, you have the true hard knockdown, so you maintain the advantage, you can go from there. Alright, so let's talk the normals. Kid Boo is God among men when it comes to his normals compared to a lot of the cast, because they go so far. He really dominates the ground in a way that very few characters can. So first up here, let's just talk about his standing M. So that says big boot here, and he pulls himself forward. And if it connects, hey, you know, you not only get to go that far, but you get a lot of time to hit confirm. So you can see, like, oh yes, it connected. Then I can just kind of do whatever I want after that. And even if the boot part misses, the head part can also still connect. And you can just kind of do whatever. It's just really good because the range is absurd. And it's also his air medium here. Now, one thing to talk about the air medium. So for a lot of characters, you know, they want to cross up and do like whatever. And usually for the most part, most characters, not every character, but most characters, they want to cross up with their medium attack. Now for Boo, he stays in place in the air when he does it, as you can see here. So if you want to do the cross up with normal timing you do for near everyone else, it's a bit difficult. So against some of the taller characters you can get them, but you generally have to wait a little bit to fall before you can get it. And in this case here, that gives them a lot more time to block, or, you know, even worse for you if they crouch heavy and knock you out of the air. So his cross-up game, because of the San M, is a bit suspect, but overall, it's still really strong. Like, that's absurd reach. Like, everyone else in the cast would utterly love to have something like that. And that's not even the furthest reaching normal, because now we got the boots. So first up here, down M reaches further, and you know, you can combo directly into it because it brings you in. So if you can get a crouch M, you can definitely get a stand M, and just go from there into combo town. Now, not only does it work, you can get 2 in a combo if you just do down MM. And you also get a third bonus one if you hold down and forward, so diagonal and M. You get a third one with way more reach than the regular one. And you can also hold down back and M and get a third different range here, as you see here. Now, for the most part, you don't need that down back because the down M will track. So if you're that close anyways, it'll just do it. So there's not much value to the down M, because you down back M, that is, because you can just do down M. And if you start with the down forward M, you can go right into down M and get 3 stomps in a row. Into an air grab, maybe EX if you want a combo, or maybe you have solved your team dilemma and you know exactly what assist will help extend the leg grab or whatever have you. There's plenty of ways to do it, absolutely. But from that far away, like, look how far that is. From that far away, you have to worry about crouch blocking while you're on the ground against Kid Buu, because that's how much space and real estate he dominates. And that is absurd. It's just absurd. It is unmatched in the game how much he can press you while your feet are on the ground from so far away. Now, on to that note, since I mentioned you have to basically do this to cross up, because, you know, you can't really do much else here. Like, you'd have to cross up from a very far distance away to get the jumping heavy. So it's very doable. So if you know your spacing, then that becomes a lot more reliable and a lot more traditional style cross up. But you really gotta watch it. It's here. I'm having some difficulty doing it against an opponent who's not going to move or fight back. So yeah, I'm just trying to say, like, his cross-up game is not the greatest, but his overall neutral game is fantastic. So a big part of the neutral game is the down heavy, because, you know, people are very jumpy, and this game there's going to be a lot of airborne activity and all sorts of airborne chaos, and the down heavy is the nice big way to shut it down. Now, for Kid Buu, his down heavy is, I don't know if I'd say it's the worst, but it's in contention for the worst of the game, mostly for this. So, say we're right beside the enemy, I'm just going to take one little step back. And see here, it whiffs. So, like, our feet are touching right now. That's how close I am to the enemy character, and I still can't hit him from this close. So, it's got basically no horizontal range at all. Vertically, it's got a decent hitbox at the very top, but there's going to be so many situations where people are instant air dashing in or whatever have you, very low to the ground offense, and he's simply going to miss where other characters are going to hit. And that really hurts him. So, his defense in that regard is much weaker than a lot of the other characters. Even the average character, like even Goku, like his isn't great, but like, see, it moves him forward a little bit. So we do that same test, and I'm going to go back even further, right? I still easily connect. So it's just really rotten, honestly. So I would not put yourself in situations where you have to rely on the down heavy to deal with it, because in those situations, there's going to be parts where you find out it's just going to fail you because it has basically no horizontal range at all. Now, to talk about some gimmicks. So what I mean by gimmicks here, a lot of it's going to have to do with the Mystic Ball attack. So if you want to end your combos with this, now you see here we both land and we're both airborne in this particular wake up. So the enemy obviously has several choices to wake up, to be sure. So let's say we try the same thing in the corner. And you see here, I can knock them out of the air. And not only that, I will recover first if they try to do any amount of air teching. So I have the advantage in that regard. So if they try to air tech and I just start mashing jab, I'm going to win. So if the enemy is not aware of that and they are prone to hit buttons, like I can just kind of keep doing this forever, as you can see here. Now, there is some fault in that it relies on the enemy, you know, doing exactly that. So let's say same deal here. So in this situation, I miss. Now, this is where it comes to be a character by character basis. So I can fall a little bit and I'll land on top of their head with a jab. So you can see there, I get a combo. So if they didn't block, I get a combo. Now, some people, they can jab this out. This is a character by character thing. You have to kind of test it yourself. And obviously, you know, everyone can just parry it. So if they know you're going to do it, but then it's one of those things. And some people, if they hit the button and say their character beat up, then here's where kind of the gimmick layers show up. So now we're going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to try to air dash out. So it's a little less viable in the corner, but here, let's try this mid-screen. So if they tried like a 2H or something, a jab, you can now basically punish them for even attempting it. And if you're really quick, you can convert that energy blast hit to a level 1 super. So there's a lot of layers to this. And not only that, like that's just like layer 1, right? So we can do something like that as well. We can cross over. The fact that you're airborne right in front of the character, while there's an element of risk to it, absolutely. You get to forward dash, back dash, hit a button, whatever have you. There's a lot you can do, and the onus is really on them to guess what your next game plan is. And that could be a potentially terrifying thing to happen. Like, I've been on the receiving end of some Kid Buu hyper-aggression, and sometimes I'm just like so flustered I choke, I don't know what to do, and that's a big part of it. So just because the combo's over doesn't necessarily mean that the pressure is over. That's a big thing he can do. Now for the really big fun gimmick. Now this gimmick has to do with his down medium. So if it hits, you know, the move brings them to you, and if it blocks, it also brings them to you a little bit. Now if you watch one of the essential tip videos, you probably already know about this gimmick then, since we are taking him out of the corner, where I can stomp, instant air dash, and hit them out of the corner. So let's try that one more time here. So I can steal the corner from them and get an air combo, even on block, because I'm in the Sparking Blast. Now, he doesn't even need to do that. So say we're doing like whatever string here. So what happened there? So what I did there is I used the down medium to steal the corner. So since they are now directly out of the corner, I can take the corner, because normally you can't take the corner from a foe. But now I did the medium Mystic Ball. So this is only the medium, it doesn't work with the other two. So if you cancel that stomp, which you know will be blocked, because if it's not blocked, you know, this isn't going to work. But if you know it's going to be blocked, so when it hits here, we do our down medium, and then we cancel right into that medium Mystic Ball. So we're doing the ground version, and there you go. So from there, not only can you just do that, because, you know, if it was just one hit by itself, it's not worth cornering yourself over, but we can get a level 1, which stays the same side, oddly enough, or we can do it into a vanish. And then, you know, we can get like whatever combo. As you can see here, it's very tricky stuff. So this is the kind of thing where if the enemy's in the corner, most of the stuff in this game tells you that if you're a corner, you're like, yeah, you gotta deal with all sorts of pressure and all that. But at the very least, you don't have to deal with like left-right mix-ups. And Kid Buu says, no, you totally have to worry about left-right mix-ups. So right there, sometimes there is an issue with spacing. So if you're directly too close, it will sometimes hit the enemy in the top of their head. So generally, any block string will always put you at the right distance. And it's just really, I got no word for it other than greasy. It's an incredibly strong mix-up that no one will ever see coming. I've successfully blocked it like maybe twice ever against a friend who does it. And like, I know it's on the table, but even then it's so hard to react to. Because, you know, at the very least, you can just stop, and then like while you're so worried about blocking somewhere else, you know, then you could try to go for a Dragon Rush or anything else. It's just an incredibly powerful offensive tool. Now, as for a general game plan, if some of the stuff I haven't really talked about earlier kind of made the point really clear, is One, Kid Buu would prefer to stay on the ground. And don't get me wrong, he's totally competent in the air, but he would prefer to stay on the ground because basically no one's going to be able to contest him on the ground, not with his range. As long as he's not directly in the guy's face here, the enemy always has to think twice about anything grounded. And on top of that, while you're grounded, Candy Beam is going to beat basically every projectile. It's going to trade favorably with Kamehameha, since they do trade out evenly. He has the Air Kamehameha, which is, once again, like one of basically 2 straight beams in the air, and the other one, only really one other one that's very useful in the air for conversions into vanishes, because Tien's not necessarily ideal for that. But he is just a monster at a range. And that's not even to say he's not good up close, because he really is. Like, and part of that has to do with his air ki blast. So if you do the air ki blast, he stays perfectly still while doing it. So if I air dash do it, he stays perfectly still. Now, he will keep whatever momentum he had beforehand. So if he's going up, he'll stay going up. If he was already falling down, he'll already fall down. Air dash, you can see here, he keeps that momentum. So like stuff like for basic air dash distance, and this isn't the cross up, so his jumping H is a very serviceable jumping normal for the traditional air dash range. And he can easily go into a ki blast and just kind of milk a bit more damage out of it. So you got to watch out the range you do it at, because since it stops him and the enemy will keep moving back from the hit, it may sometimes move him out of range because his lights are a bit stubby to make up for the fact that his mediums are so monstrous. But for the most part, it's basically a free tick of damage. As see here, so as long as you get the spacing, you don't even have to get it like right per se. Just, you know, just don't get it bad, and you'll be fine. And it's just really good. So it also works with the medium cross up, as you can see here. And one thing here, if you get the spacing just right, and this is more about the medium, so you can do the medium into the heavy. Now there we go, perfect example. So if you get it just right, not only does it hit, it switches sides, so it crosses people up and is very disorienting, because that is such a very rare thing to happen, where I can hit you one side and wind up on the other side. Like some other fighting games, you know, that's not too uncommon. But for Dragon Ball, hitting one side and being on the other side is pretty rare. Not many people have that capability. And for Kid Buu, it's a pretty big deal. So, once again, his cross-ups are still not great, because, you know, if they were ducking, that would just go over their head and they can get whatever they want, because he has to complete that animation. Unless you want to spend a bar. And, you know, sometimes you don't got a bar to give, right? But overall, his aerial offense is still fantastic range. If you just find people just jumping in the air, it's not the worst thing to challenge them with. And plus, you know, get the air Kamehameha, which is a fantastic thing to challenge other people in the air, because you can convert any stray hit into a vanish into a full combo. And also, since I didn't really mention it before when talking about it, you can totally Tiger Knee the Kamehameha. So if you're not familiar with the term, let me just turn on my notes. There we go, so you can see my inputs here. So I'm just going to do the motion here. So fireball motion, and when you do fireball motion and hit special, you get the Candy Beam. So fireball motion, and then I'm going to hit up forward to jump. Now you see here, I'm doing this air OK move, like a millimeter off the ground. So if for some reason you don't want the Candy Beam and you just want the Kamehameha, you can still basically do it directly on the ground. It's basically much the same. It'll even do a bit more damage than the Candy Beam. You still get a advantage combo afterwards, but say for some reason you don't need that health, you just want that damage, it works much the same. And, you know, it hits people a little higher up, so if they're starting a jump or something, it would hit where the Candy Beam misses, but still, it's just such a versatile moveset. Like that, the normals, it's all just so good. He is absolutely one of the best characters in the game, to be sure. So that concludes our video for today. So while Kid Buu's strongest strengths are basically at the peak of his feet here, so as long as he has you at the tip of his toes, that's where he is considered the strongest in my opinion. But he's a threat at all ranges. He's got very quick jabs, you know, very quick crouching low. He's got so much projectile strength between Candy Beam and the Air Kamehameha, because the threat of one bar into a vanish anywhere on the screen is just so powerful. He's a true threat at all ranges. He's got the Mystic Ball mix-ups and gimmicks, and there's very little he's not good at. Like I said, the 2H sucks, so that does suck. But I guess, you know, he needs some kind of weakness, so that would be the weakness. But yeah, he's a fantastic character. On top of that, he's small, so, you know, things have trouble hitting him. Like I like playing Android 16 a lot personally. My main Android 16 combo just straight up doesn't work on him because he's so little. So I actually have to do a different combo. And there is some people that have some trouble hitting their combos on Kid Buu because he is so little. And as a Kid Buu player, that definitely works in your favor because you can think in a way that he has more effective health because he's taking less damaging combos because they have to give up damage just to make sure they can complete their combo to begin with. And on top of that, he has the fact to heal himself, which, it's like basically one of 3 characters can do. And that means, in a way, he kind of has more effective health than any other cast member in the game. But yeah, he's just a true terror. He's a threat at all ranges. He's fantastic. Can't say much more than that. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.